Welcome to Tips for the Transition, where we have deep, meaningful conversations about life. We talk about how significant changes like divorce, grief, and career change can affect us, our family, our relationships, and our work, and how to move beyond them. I'm your host, Maria Tomás-Keegan, certified career and life coach for women, and I'm here to support you through the messy seasons of life so you can answer big questions like who am I now and how do I move on from here? If you're ready to consider new options, be inspired, and meet incredible women who are on this life journey with us, you're in the right place. You'll find something in each episode to give you hope and encourage you to move from panic to powerful, from rocky to resilient, and from upside down to right side up. This is Tips for the Transition. Podcast. And I'm Maria Tomás-Keegan, your host. As a career coach, I help professional women who feel stuck. Together, we position them for the career they really want so they feel fulfilled and can create more harmony in their lives. Because when your career isn't a soulful fit, it becomes a soul-sucking experience. So each week, we have conversations with inspiring guests and create resources so that you can become more confident, resilient, and brave, and do it with more ease and grace. So if something strikes a chord as you're listening to this conversation and you want more information, please check out the show notes below. There are a bunch of links that will help you connect with my guest and me. So giving up a well-paying corporate job with great benefits to stay home and raise your family can be a scary proposition. How do you replace that income and the security? So many women are not comfortable making the leap and taking the risk. And that's totally understandable. So if this is you, listen up, because today's guest did just that. Whitney Bonds is a former marketing manager who decided to explore the option to work from home when she was pregnant with her second child. After doing a lot of research, she took the leap and now works from home while raising her growing family. And she built a six-figure business helping other moms find remote work for free. Whitney's website, triedandtruemomjobs.com, is a free service for moms or anyone who wants to work from home with researched and vetted opportunities, interviews with real moms sharing what they do, how they get started, and how much they're making doing it. It's an incredible, dynamic website that reaches more than 500,000 visitors each month. So Whitney and her work to support families has been featured in Parents Magazine, Business Insider, Thrive Global, and Forbes. We call this episode Moms Making Money from Home. So welcome, Whitney. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here today.
It is my pleasure. Here we go. I am dying to get into this. I've been on your website. It is amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
And it is just a tremendous resource. And what I love about what you've done is that you've vetted everything on it. And tried and true is a great name for it. It's just what it is. So let's get some more of the backstory. What was the need you identified and the problem you had to solve for yourself?
Right. So like you said, I was pregnant with my second child and I wanted to be able to quit my job. So I started looking for legitimate ways to make money from home. And what I was specifically looking for was actual jobs that moms were doing from home because I know everyone, the things that we do as a mom, it has to be on a flexible schedule because, having kids, you can't have things to be like a straight 9 to 5. So I'm trying to figure out what are some actual things that moms are doing at home. And I was Googling everything and trying to figure out what can I do from home with my kids. And I could not find anything. So after just praying about my situation, one day I woke up in the morning and I know it was the Lord that just said, just ask moms who work from home, what do they do? How do they get started? And how much do they make? So I said, okay. And one of the things that I did find that you could do from home was blogging. And I didn't know what I could blog about. But then when I woke up with that idea, I said, hey, that could be an idea for a blog. So I ended up just reaching out to moms that worked from home and I asked them, what do they do? How do they get started? And how much do they make? And they answered. So I compiled all their answers and created a website to share their stories for moms like myself looking for legitimate ways that moms are actually making money from home. And that's how I was able to build a website and build a actual website where I can provide information for free and make money at the same time because I also have ads on my website. So just by having ads on my website, that's a way that I'm able to make money for myself by providing free information to others. So if people are just reading my articles and they pass an ad, that's known as an ad impression, and I make money from that. So that's just a brilliant way, a great way that I'm able to make money from home and share great information to women in the same position that I'm in.
That's great. That is just very resourceful of you. It makes a lot of sense how you went about doing it. If you don't know, if you can't figure it out, go ask the people that are like you that you want to.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So how did you, kind of specifically, how did you get your business started?
Sure. So one of the things that I did, like I said before, I was trying to figure out, I saw that these bloggers were making money blogging every month. So I saw that one blogger was making $100,000 a month just from blogging. So I said, okay, this will be a great platform to use. So I got my business started by just identifying a business model that they were using, which was basically finding out what people were searching for on Google and answering their questions in a certain way so they can show up in the search results. So I got my business started by modeling after someone else, but putting my own spin to it. So that's how I was able to get my business started by just having a model for how to build this website and how to structure my articles and basically provide information to people. And that's how I got started by just basically having a muse, if for better, like a better term, and to understand how to get this started.
You know, so many we have heard this said, right? There are no new ideas, right? There is always someone out there who's started something that is similar that we want to do, and modeling after someone else that is successful is a great idea. There's no need to reinvent the wheel.
Yes.
And as I think about your website, I recognize that those are the kinds of opportunities that you offer there. So let's talk about that. Based on your research, what are some of the most popular jobs that moms do that are now on your site? And give us an idea of how much they are earning. You told us about the blogger. That's just amazing.
Right, exactly. So, sure. So, one of the most popular ways that I see that moms are making money from home are becoming a virtual assistant. Now, what do virtual assistants do? They help business owners out with everyday tasks like email, phone calls, um, just social media tasks, admin tasks, things like that. Things that are basically the business owner is trying to work on some other strategic areas of their business. So, they want to outsource these tasks to someone that can do this just to help them run the business and so they can work on some more strategic areas of their business. So that's what a virtual assistant does. They do things like email management, like I said, answering emails, and they can make around $25 an hour. I know I have some virtual assistants and I always I start them out at $25 an hour depending on what the tasks are. And you can make a great living off of this. I know virtual assistants that are making anywhere from $1,000 per month to $10,000 per month. And the reason this is such a great job for moms is because this is project based. So for myself and other people, we don't care when you get the job done. We just want you to get it done by our deadline. So if our deadline is say tomorrow, if you work at midnight, I don't care as long as it's done by the time that I gave it to you for. So that's why this is such a great job because it's project based and it's great jobs for moms because the flexibility is there and you can work around your own schedule. Now another popular way you can make money from home is freelance writing. So if you like to write, that's a great way to get into freelance writing. And I have articles and different tips on my website on how you can get started doing that. Another one is bookkeeping. Now, bookkeeping is a great job, especially for moms, because the work is so flexible. For example, to do one client's work per month, it only takes 4 hours per month to work on one client. And that's max. It usually doesn't even take 4 hours. And I interviewed a mom who has 9 kids, and she's a bookkeeper, and she earns over $2,000 per month. And the reason she can do that is because the work is so flexible that she can do this at nighttime or early in the morning. So she really can be there for her kids. Now I have other jobs that like proofreading. So if you're that type of person that you have that eagle eye, always catching spelling errors and grammar mistakes, that is a great way that you can make money from home, because there are so many people who are publishing blog posts like myself or different articles for different companies that they want to get someone to have a last set of eyes before they actually hit publish to make sure that they don't have any spelling errors or anything like that. And I interviewed a mom on my website, and she's making over $3,000 a month doing this. Now, I often see proofreaders making around $1,000 per month, but this is definitely a way that you can make a great way to make money from home. And I have some other tips. If you want me to keep sharing, I can go on and on, to be honest.
Now let's leave some curiosity factor going here, because I want people to go to your website and
Oh,
see.
thank you.
There's just so much there, and so many great ideas. And I love how you are positioning this for moms. But the fact is, anyone who wants to work from home could do any one of these things,
Exactly.
even if they're not a mom. If they're not a mom, they probably could make more because they don't need to make time for their families, right?
Exactly.
And work
Exactly.
in between. So these ideas are really for anyone. And there are so many people who are looking to work from home now.
Exactly. Exactly. Like the pandemic was a perfect opportunity to say, I don't want to go, have to go out to work. I want to be able to work from home, and the
Yeah,
possibilities are there.
I don't want to go back to the office. And thankfully there are many companies who are allowing employees to do that. But
Right.
for those that are looking for truly an entrepreneurial kind of experience to
Mm-hmm.
work for themselves and not have to be reporting into others, then these are all great options.
Right.
So let's talk about what it takes to start a business. What recommendations do you have for people who think they want to start a business at home?
My first recommendation is to figure out why you want to do that, because there are many days that I wanted to give up on my business, but my kids were my reason why I wanted to be able to quit my job so I could stay home with them. So I think it's so important to have something that's going to drive you enough when those hard times come, that's going to be able to push you past that. So you have to have that why, and it has to be important enough to you that you're going to push past the hard times, because in any business, you're going to face some tough times. So you have to want this bad enough to keep trying so you can get over that hump. So I always say that's the biggest thing. You have to have some fire under you to go, full force. You have to be laser focused. You have to be consistent, and you have to have just that drive. So like I said, I think your drive is going to be your reason why you even want to build a business. So if it's you're at a job that you can't stand to be at anymore, and you're going to try everything that you can to get out of it, that's going to be a good enough reason to go ahead to fulfill entrepreneurship and start your own business. Same thing, but everyone's situation is different. So I highly recommend just really doing a self-evaluation to say, like, why do I really want to do this? And am I willing to do what it takes, or what it's going to cost me? Because it's going to take some sacrifice. It's going to take you some sacrifice, even financially, if you want to build a business. And even just like going out with friends all the time, in the beginning days, it's going to take a lot of focus and just being eliminating all distractions. So you have to be make sure that you are willing to be disciplined and give up your your freedom for just short time. Because now I was able to do that. And when I got started, I was working early in the morning. Then I had to go to my 9 to 5 job. I had to come home and take care of my kids. But I was working at my lunch hour for my business on my job. Then I was working late at night. So it was not pretty at all. But I had that fire under me. I had my why on why I was doing this. And that is what pushed me into full-time entrepreneurship. And that's why I believe my business was so successful, because I eliminated all the distractions and I was willing to do what it took. And it took a lot of work. So you have to be willing to do that. So that's definitely, I think that's so important for people to understand when you want to start a business.
You just nailed it, because this is understanding why you do anything, right?
Right.
What that, like the fire in your belly, as you were saying, right? That fire under you. If your why isn't bigger than those obstacles you will face, then it will be really hard to get, over, around, or through
Right.
those obstacles. So I love that you started with that. I think that is such an important piece of um, why we do anything, really. But to
Right.
start something that could be perceived as risky, it is. There's some
Hmm.
risk involved. There's some sacrifice involved, as you said. But if your why is bigger than all of that, then you will persevere. And persistence is a key element of
Oh,
that
yes.
in anything.
Yes.
All right, so we know that owning your own business, starting your own business, it isn't for everyone. So let's get real. Let's talk about some of the obstacles that people might face as they're starting something like this.
Yes, I think one of the biggest obstacles is people not understanding just how to get started. And I think that's kind of why they don't get started. So I talk to people all the time, and I share my story about how I've been able to make six figures with my blog, and it inspires them. They want to start a blog too. But then I always see them, they're saying, well, this isn't working. And then I ask them, well, have you been posting an article every single week? And they say, they'll give excuses to why they can't commit. So that's I think one of the biggest things too when starting a business is that consistency is key. And even the more you do things, the better you get at it. And I think the one of the obstacles is trying to find that time to be consistent. This is where discipline is required. You have to be disciplined enough to go ahead and continue to work at this every single day. I always say you should be doing something for your business, at least in the early stages, every single day for your business, whether it's just one sending out an email. It could just be something little, but every single day you should be doing something for your business to help it grow. And finding out, like for myself anyway, I had a proven business model that I was following. I was following this model that I saw was working with these bloggers. So I knew if I could just continue and be consistent doing it the way that they were doing it, but putting my own spin to it, that I would be successful. And it took me a whole entire year to even make money that mattered. But I knew it would work because I knew I had someone to go off by. So I wasn't just going in blind with just the hope of saying, I hope this works. No, I knew it would work if I was consistent. So I think that's so important just to understand, because so many people want to start a blog or a YouTube channel or things like that because they see the monetary benefits, but you have to ask yourself, or you have to just be willing to be consistent with it. And I think that's one of the biggest obstacles that I see people in business, that they want to start something but they're not consistent. And that's one of the biggest obstacles I think that they face, is consistency.
Yeah, I find that with my clients too. So it's really important. So your why has to be really big. It has to be really important to you. And then you have to work at it. You have to
Mhm.
just keep putting one foot in front of the other with that vision in mind. And I love that you said it took you a whole year to make money that mattered. So while you were doing that, were you still working your 9 to 5? At what
No,
point did you leave your 9 to 5?
right. So I started my blog January 31st, 2018. I had my daughter in March in 2018, and I said that I wanted to quit my job after I had her. So what I did was I took an extended FMLA unpaid but I still was able to keep my job just in case, like I said, I need to go back, I would still have my job. So in April, I got my first commission check with my blog. So it took 4 months until I actually made any money in my blog, and it was commission check. And I said, okay, now it's proven. It's a proven business model. I can make money from this. If I can keep this up, I can quit my job. And that was all the motivation that I needed to say this will really work. And then in June, when it was time for me to go back to work, I went in and gave my 2 weeks notice, and I completely, fully committed to my blog and said, this is going to work, because I had that one commission check. That was all I needed to say. Okay, so this worked. I can keep at it. I just know it's going to take a little time. And that was just all the motivation that I needed. So I had the proof of concept, because I did actually make a commission check. So that was just all that I needed. And it didn't happen right away, but I knew it could, because I was following this business model. And that's so important too. You have to trust the process too, because it is a process. So I think that's what's really important. And I think that was what why I've been, thank the Lord, able to have a successful business, because I was able to trust the process even when I didn't see the results right away.
And something occurs to me as I'm listening to your story, and I know you're married and you have a very supportive husband.
Mm-hmm.
So not everyone has that luxury or that support, right? So I want to just be sure that we're talking to them as well. So there are a lot of
Exactly.
single moms out there. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure you have. I'm sure you've encountered a lot of single moms.
Yes.
Can you share some of their stories and how it worked for them as well?
Yeah, the biggest thing, and I think anything, is having help. It doesn't, I know even as a single mom, it's so important to utilize the help that you have. So whether it's a friend, whether it's your family members, this is kind of where you have to lean on others, because we need each other. We
Mm.
we do. And I know it's not going to be, I feel bad sometimes even asking some people to watch my own kids, but you have to kind of lean on people in these times when you're trying to build a business, especially with someone with kids. You just need help. So these are the times when you have to lean on people. And I know there are even times that I even went to the gym by myself with my kids, because they have free daycare at the gym, and I would work while they were in the play area. So I'm just trying to utilize all my different resources. And same thing with the moms, some of the moms that I have spoken to that have gone the path of entrepreneurship for them as well. They just use all the resources that they have. It's not easy, but it is doable. And I think that's so important to understand. So you can do it. You just have to rely on your resources. And like I said, if you don't even have the help, there's gyms out there like that have the daycares that you can rely on for a couple of hours just to get some things done. Because I know it's tough out here, especially not having any help. But there are some things that you can do, and you do have to rely on people, especially as a single mom and people going through.
I love that. That's such great advice to tap into your resources.
Hmm.
And there are resources out there, and your website is one of them. So there are lots of stories that women that you've interviewed that are on your website, and people can listen to those stories, tap into what their experience has been, their journey has been, and see how it might align with
Hmm.
what you're going through, and learn how you might be able to do something different than you're doing now. So
Right, right.
let's talk about it causes me to think about how we can often doubt ourselves, right? So when something is scary, when it's new, when we're not sure what it is we're embarking on, we don't know the outcome yet. We haven't proven it. We haven't gotten that commission check yet, like you
Yeah.
did, to prove it to you. Um, and there's what many people call imposter syndrome. Who do I think I
Hmm.
am trying to do this in my current state? What guidance can you give? Did you ever feel that? Did you ever feel that doubt?
Yeah, well, I think I didn't have a chance to, because I didn't have a plan B for my website or for what I wanted to do. So that was the one thing that it had to work. I didn't have any other options. So I didn't have I will say it was scary. And, I did have the support of my husband and my family, but to be honest, I knew it wasn't all there because we didn't know any successful bloggers. We didn't know people actually making money from home. So I know, you can tell too when people are trying to support you, you can feel that they're not all the way there. So,
Yeah.
but I knew that this just had to work. And I also knew that I had, like I said, I had that proven business model, a proven successful business that I understood. I think that's so important too. People want to do different things. So they're going to say, okay, I want to do that. But do you really understand how they did it? I think it's so important to do your research and have a full understanding of how this works, whatever business that you want to do. And also, when I want us to get over this imposter syndrome, because I have a whole website about work from home jobs, and I didn't have a work from home job. I wasn't a money expert. I didn't know how they even make money from home. And my whole entire website is about that. But now I consider myself a work from home expert because I have interviewed all these women. Time has gone in there where I have spoken to so many different people on how they are making money from home. So now, yes, I can tell you all the different ways you can make money from home. But when I got started, I had no clue how I could make money from home. So I want us to get over this imposter syndrome. You do not have to be an expert in a certain area. Just ask someone who does and share that information. We do not have to know it all. I certainly did not, but now as time goes on, we learn. I mean, experts were not born in a day, or it didn't happen in a day. You have to learn how this stuff works. So, and I'm not going to say fake it till you make it, but find out someone who knows this information that you want and just share that. And until you get to that point, you can just go that route. So that's just definitely something that I want to share too.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And you're so right. So many of us think that we have to know it all before we can get started. And
Mm-hmm.
what you're saying is we can learn along the way. And
Yes.
as we learn, we can teach what we learn. And that's what you did.
Yes,
You
exactly.
learned first, you did your research,
Mm-hmm.
you researched something that you wanted to do, you
Exactly.
found a model that worked, and you replicated that model with tweaks so that it worked best for you. And then you began to teach what you learned. You began to share information
Mm-hmm.
as you learned it. And you found that other moms also wanted to know the same thing.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
you found a need and you supplied the potential solutions. And
Right.
that grew into this marvelous website that you've built. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
I love it. I love it. All right. So we end every one of our episodes, Whitney, with this segment of practical tips and strategies that my guests share with the audience. It's why I call the show Tips for the Transition. So I know you have some more tips for us. What's your first one?
My first one is I want you to know, like we said before, you do not have to reinvent the wheel. Find a proven business model. There's so many different businesses out there. Find the one that you want to do. Find out how they were able to build it, how they make money, find out all about it, make it your own and execute and be consistent. That's my first tip. Then
Okay.
go
And
ahead,
what
the
I
second tip.
want to say is your website is a good place to start that research.
Yeah, yes, thank you. Yes, it is.
Yeah. Okay. What's tip number two?
This number two tip is to be consistent in anything that you do. If it's not making sense, just keep at it. It will start, the light bulb will come on, but it won't come on if you stop. So keep at it, be consistent. If you don't understand something, just take it one step at a time. So consistency is key in any business.
And along with that, and I hope I'm not stealing your thunder because I don't know what
No.
your tips are, but along with that, being consistent, and if you don't know what comes next, ask, right?
Yes.
Tap
Yes.
into your resources.
Yes, yes, yes. And that will be my last one
I
is
was
to
afraid I was stealing your
no,
thunder.
no, that because you're good. You got it. But research to me is another one too. I think research is
Yeah.
so important to do your research first. I always say, if you have a business plan, write it on paper. It should make sense on paper. If I do this, eventually I'm going to get there. And that's how you can have a vision or have a guide to this journey that you're going to be going on, because you're not going to be making money right away. So you have to have a full plan. What's your marketing and advertising going to look like? How are you going to actually get people to know about your business? So you have to write, like I say, write it out on paper and let it until it makes sense, and then go ahead and execute.
And not everyone knows how to write a business plan, but you can
Mm-hmm.
research that too.
Right. Yes, you
There are
can.
models for business plans out there, and there's always the Small Business Association
Mm-hmm.
that
Yes.
is a resource, a free resource that people can tap into.
Yes. Yes. And I didn't even have a professional business plan. I'm talking what what do I want to do, or what need am I feeling? How am I gonna get people to know about it? How am I gonna make money doing it? It's just like something that it doesn't have to be professional or anything.
Yeah,
Could be like cut and dry, just real quick. Just have a full understanding of how can this business really work.
yeah, and I think that you talked about there are facets of the business that you have to think through, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not just what you're going to do to create the product or the service, whatever it
Right.
is. But you mentioned it. How are you going to get other people to know about it?
Mm-hmm.
Because they have to invest in
Exactly.
you, your product, your service, so that you can make money. So there's the marketing, the advertising, all of that. So are you going to do it via social media? Are you going to do it in other ways? Is it more a local business? Is it a more, a social business that can
Right.
be done no matter you may be sitting in the center of this country and doing business globally. You could have a global reach. What is that vision?
Right. Exactly.
I love that. I love that.
Thank you.
Whitney, I have so enjoyed this conversation. I think that a lot of women who are watching or listening are going to tap into your website as a new resource for them. So I want you to share that with us again. Tell us what your website is.
Yes, the name of my website is triedandtruemomjobs.com. And the spelling of that is TRIED and AND, true, TRUE, mom, MOM, and then jobs with a S, JOBS.com. Triedandtruemomjobs.com.
That's perfect. Thank you. Thank you so
Yes.
much for being here,
Thank you
Whitney.
so much for having me. I really had a good time here today.
Oh, good. 'Cause yeah, today it's a morning here.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you again, and we will be checking out your website for sure.
Thank you.
And everyone else for watching and listening. I want to thank you. I appreciate you for being a part of this community. And if you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a comment or a review. And if you find a star rating where you're listening or watching, click on one of those stars and let us know what you thought. And as I said at the top of the show, I love creating and sharing resources for professional women who feel stuck in their careers. So if something in this episode resonates with you and you'd like to get a fresh perspective on it, reach out and let's have a chat. If you take a look at the show notes below, you'll find all kinds of links to reach out to Whitney and learn more about what she's doing or to me. And I invite you to continue this conversation in my private Facebook group called the Career Transition Roadmap. So look for the links for that below as well. And let's meet again here next Wednesday and every Wednesday at the same time, 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Because you know what? I believe it's our time to thrive. So let's thrive together. Till next time, I'm Maria Tomás-Keegan, helping you turn transition into triumph.